Amazing. But what kind of got you into that world? Like, how did you get started?
Well, I grew up in LA. So I was lucky to be adjacent to Hollywood. I was out in the valley, but within an hour's drive. Right. And my mom got me into auditioning when I was probably like 5 years old, and I started doing commercials until I was like 13. I loved commercials. I loved performing. And that kind of it ran. Like I didn't do... I would say my first big break was Listen Up, actually. I was about 14 years old. My very first series. Prior to that, you guys, it was kind of a whirlwind. Like, I don't know. I think probably the most interesting piece of my career for some of your listeners was when I was getting into the world of wanting to do Nickelodeon and Disney. And I was coming off this sitcom on CBS. And back when I was coming up, if you were on a network show, it got a lot of hype. It got a lot of clout. Like I was in TV Guide and Cosmopolitan and Teen Vogue. And like, it was supposed to be that like from that point on, I think in my team's mind, I was jumping into theatrical. Like I was, I was up for the 40-Year-Old Virgin. Like I was up for movies, like Juno at the time, like big movies.
Oh, wow.
I did not want to be doing those things. Contrary to like some real actors' dreams, I wanted to do Nickelodeon and Disney.
I love that.
I don't know if I've ever shared this, but I actually went behind my agent's back to do a general with Disney. And that general in the same day essentially turned into testing for Hannah Montana. So it was me, Miley, and Taylor Momsen. And that experience was so fun. I was probably about 4 or 5 years older than them. And I remember just being kind of like motherly and going downstairs to the cafeteria and bringing up French fries for Miley and I. And I had to sing my heart out. And you guys, I sang multiple songs. But the one that I led with was Jeremiah Was a Bullfrog. I don't even know if that's what the song is. That's the one.
Rolling on a Proud Mary, right? Is that a different song?
I think it's a different
Oh, wait.
song.
Oh my God. Joy
Joy
what's
to
it
the
called?
World. Yes.
Yeah. There's something.
It's Joy to the World. I don't know why I called it
What is it
Jeremiah Was a
called?
Bullfrog. That's the most memorable line in my book.
No, Joy to the World is the joy to the world. No, I think
the girls.
Yes, no, that is the same song.
Joy to you.
Wait,
no, yes,
is it
but
not the same?
what is it? What's a good friend of mine? What is that song called?
Are you asking me to sing it?
Oh, would you like to sing it?
Yes.
Please. Okay, give it to us.
I was sick last week,
Okay.
guys.
So we're gonna quickly do some setting of the scene.
Yeah. So we're in this room at Disney. It's like a big lobby type vibe, and we're all kind of sitting in different areas. Miley and I sat the closest. I think if I remember correctly, my mom and her mom were like chatting. We're all like for hours, I believe, going in and out of this room to do this audition, this piece. And then they would have us sing. They'd have to come up back outside, give, notes, whatever, go back in. I go in. I'm ready to sing my song. And it goes a little something like this. Jeremiah was a bullfrog. He was a good friend of mine. Well, I never understood a single word he said, but I helped him drink his wine. Yes, he always had some mighty fine wine. I'm singing joy to the world.
That's it, the title,
there it
we
is.
think.
Yeah. And I went on a little longer than probably should have or needed to. I think they saw what they needed to see.
Which was what?
I mean, let's be honest.
Vocal expertise.
That was a lot in a few lines. I gave them a lot to go off.
That was fearlessness.
So that was that.
No, but imagine being, what were you, 13 at the time?
I was 16. So I played young for a while.
Yeah.
Right.
But imagine you're 16 playing 13 and you walk in a room and they're like, and you go behind your agent's back and then that afternoon they're like sing and you're like, all right, I'm going to just whip this out.
Yeah. That was the one.
There it was.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It was a beautiful experience. I really enjoyed it.
Well, now I have a follow-up question. You said your mom was there.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a sore subject now, I guess, but Billy Ray ended up stepping into the show and playing Miley's dad. Were your parents ready to step into the show?
And that's where it really got a little dicey in our relationship. I would have done that for my kid.
Right.
That wasn't actually of a topic of conversation. It wasn't offered to my parents, unfortunately.
Okay. They're not country superstars?
Not at this point in their career, at least as far as I knew.
Well, what if they're doing like a Hannah Montana thing?
Oh.
Full
and
circle.
your parents are secretly.
Could you imagine?
Yeah.
The deceitfulness.
Yeah, like who would it be? Like Faith Hill and
Tim McGraw.
Tim McGraw.
Could you even imagine?
Oh, your secret parents.
I don't know how I'd feel about it.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I don't really want anyone to step on my shadow. Like, I really feel like I earned that spot.
You're the vocalist.
Of course. Would you have shoved your mom out of the way if she like tried to?
I would have done what I had to do. And I think
Right.
that's really just sort of for me to know in the moment.
Of course.
You know, you do what you have to do.
Right. Well, acting is just reacting.
It is just
so you can't really
reacting.
plan it.
You can't. I couldn't
Yeah.
tell you. Couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
But yeah, Billy Ray stepped in. He was the dad, and I think the show is great, and it was exactly what it needed to be. But I was just in love with the idea of doing Disney.
Yeah.
And then they were so nice, like Catherine Stroud, Lisa London. Those were the casting directors that were like big at Disney at that time. And I did Sweet Life, and actually tested for another show. I think actually just before this that was by Michael something, who did That's So Raven.
Oh.
And it was so cute. So I knew that like there was a world where I could be in the kids' world, and that's really what I wanted to do. And so I just kept trucking along, you know?
And then how many years later was Victorious?
I was 18 when I got the pilot. So just a couple years later. And yeah, that was a whole experience because the sides that we got for Victorious, we all had the same sides for every character. So it was for this character named Alex. It was like a very general character, but the sides were incredibly orchestrated in that it reminded me of, I had also auditioned for All That at one point in time. And All That was the same sort of like circus. You really had to jump through hoops for their auditions. Like they wanted to see every dialect you could do, every natural ability, every stretching. It was really exciting. So that was kind of like the Victorious sides, like a little bit of everything, crying, laughing, singing, dancing, like all of it in one material.
All the emotions.
So did you go into it knowing you were up for Trina or?
No, you really had no idea. I mean, at least as far as I remember, there was, I didn't know. I knew that there was, I would imagine there was a breakdown that I was right for, but like the material itself, like you kind of had to do your own spin and just hope that it fit the role.
So did you audition as this general character
pretty much.
singing seriously, and then they called you back for the tone deaf sister?
Yeah, no, I think that, to be fair, I don't know that the sister was ever as tone deaf as she turned out to be.
That's real.
Yeah, so I think that there was a really beautiful alliance in her and I, that we just sort of agreed that we were going to do this the right way, which was as authentic as possible.
Thanks so much for watching this clip from our podcast, Counter-Melodies.
If you'd like to watch the full episode, be sure to click the link in the description.
And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Bye, guys.
Counter-Melodies.